Mary Lennox had begun to enjoy her walks around the gardens of Misselthwaite Manor. Each day, she wandered a little farther, learning the paths and hedges, and noticing how quiet and wide the grounds felt. There were many walls, many doors, and many places that seemed forgotten. One morning, while walking slowly along a long, ivy-covered wall, Mary noticed a little robin hopping nearby. He did not seem afraid of her. Instead, he tilted his head and watched her with bright, curious eyes. Mary liked the robin. She spoke to him softly as she walked, and he fluttered ahead, stopping now and then as if waiting for her to follow. As Mary moved closer to the wall, she saw something half hidden in the earth. She knelt down and brushed away the soil with her fingers. Beneath it lay a small, rusty key. Mary picked it up carefully. It was old, and it looked as though it had not been used for a very long time. She wondered what the key might open. Holding it tightly in her hand, Mary stood and looked along the ivy-covered wall. There were many doors built into the stone, but all of them seemed closed and locked. Some were hidden behind thick plants, and others were nearly invisible unless one looked closely. The robin hopped along the top of the wall and chirped softly. Mary felt as though he were trying to tell her something, though she did not know what. She walked slowly along the wall, counting the doors as she passed them. 1, 2, 3, but none of the doors seemed different from the others. Still, she felt a quiet excitement growing inside her. This place felt full of secrets. Mary had heard stories about a garden that had been locked away long ago. No one spoke of it now, and no one was allowed to enter. The thought of it made her curious, though she did not yet understand why. She turned the small key over in her fingers again. Somewhere, she thought, there must be a door for it. As the morning sun warmed the stones beneath her feet, Mary continued her walk, feeling calm and thoughtful. The robin stayed nearby, watching her, hopping from wall to ground and back again. At last, Mary stopped and looked once more at the long wall stretching quietly beside her. She did not try to open any doors just yet. Instead, she placed the key safely in her pocket. She felt certain that when the time was right, she would know what to do. With that gentle thought in her mind, Mary turned back toward the house, still holding the secret of the key, and wondering what it might one day unlock. After that day, Mary often thought about the key in her pocket. She did not speak of it to anyone, but she carried it with her when she went walking, feeling comforted simply by knowing it was there. Each morning, she returned to the long, ivy-covered wall. She walked slowly beside it, watching how the light changed across the stones and how the plants clung gently to the surface. The robin appeared often, as if he remembered her. Mary began to feel that the wall itself was friendly, even though it hid its secrets well. One quiet afternoon, as Mary followed the robin along the wall, she noticed something she had not seen before. thick curtain of ivy had been pushed aside by the wind, revealing a small wooden door set low in the stone. Mary stopped at once. Her heart beat a little faster, but she did not feel afraid. She stepped closer and brushed the ivy aside. The door was old and weathered, its surface worn smooth by time. At its center was a small, rusted keyhole. Mary reached into her pocket. Her fingers closed around the key. She held it for a moment, breathing slowly, feeling the quiet around her. The garden was still. Even the robin had stopped hopping and sat watching her from the wall. Carefully, Mary placed the key into the lock. It fit. With a gentle turn, the lock gave way and the door opened softly. Mary stepped through. Inside was a garden unlike any she had ever seen. The grass was pale and thin, and the flower beds were quiet and resting. Leafless branches reached gently into the air, and vines lay curled along the ground, waiting. Though it was silent and empty, the garden did not feel lonely. It felt asleep. Mary stood very still, taking it all in. She felt as though she had been trusted with something precious. The garden seemed to belong to her now, not to keep, but to care for. She walked slowly along the paths, careful not to disturb anything. She noticed tiny green shoots pushing up from the soil, signs that life was quietly waiting beneath the surface. The robin hopped inside after her, chirping softly, as if pleased. Mary smiled. She knew she would return to this place again and again. She would watch it change with the seasons, and she would help it grow. Before leaving, Mary closed the door gently behind her and locked it once more. She placed the key safely back in her pocket. As she walked back toward the house, the sky above her felt wider, and the air seemed softer. The secret garden was no longer lost. It was simply waiting. Good night, and sweet dreams.